Forgive to heal. I am Dr. Trish Leigh. This is a program to heal screen brain and mold brain, two things I have been personally impacted by in my life. And both of them involve forgiveness. One aspect of both of them is forgiveness of yourself and of the people in your world. Now, if we're talking about explicit content screen brain, there's generally lots and lots of forgiveness that needs to be done, because in relationships, explicit content really can just create this divide between partners, and it can impact your brain. It can damage your brain so much that it makes you a different version of yourself entirely. And thus you start treating people in your world differently, and things can really devolve from there. So there's usually lots of forgiveness. Now, when it comes to mold, if you know the work of Louise Hay, she has in her books, she has psychological components for every physical problem. And mold obviously is crusty dusty, and it's old, and it's stinky, and it's toxic. So it is the psychological correlate to toxic, old, crusty thinking. And usually when we pull things from the past to come with us and it lingers in our system, it's because of trauma and dysfunction and neglect and things you haven't forgiven yourself for doing, and things you haven't forgiven other people for doing against you or to you. Here's what I'm here to tell you in both cases. You have to forgive, because if you don't, the resentment builds up in you, and you end up having to deal with illness because there's so much resentment, or you have to escape to forget the resentment that you have within you. So I know this is really hard, and I've been doing tons of work in this direction. And obviously I've been poisoned by mold, but it gives me the opportunity to look at my past programming to keep my brain out of the pendulum effect in optimal mode, because I'm not dragging around issues from the past. So what I've identified is two of the relationships in my life, actually there's more, but two primary relationships have had kind of, a splinter in them. One a big splinter, one a splinter that's healed. And I do have lots of other relationships that have thorns still stuck in them, but I'm working on healing them. The ones that I haven't been able to heal yet, I've realized I haven't really done anything to that person. They may have allowed themselves to suffer because of something I've done, and that's different. And I have allowed myself to suffer because of things that people have done, seemingly to me. It's about perception. Like, nobody can hurt you if you don't let them. That's the truth. And I know you might not want to hear it. I know I don't want to hear it half the time, but I can't be hurt by other people's actions. I only can if I perceive them as being done to me, which nobody wants to hurt anybody else. That is those people's wounds. And when you get wounded, fight or flight takes over. Pendulum brain over here, very fast energy, fight or flight, overwhelm. So what most people do is run, or keep making bad decisions that feel like they're against you. So here's the brain hack for the day. Make a list of the things that you are holding on to, and see in those things how you were doing your best at the time. You were doing what you knew to do based on how you were programmed, or how you were taught, or how you were trained by your family. You were doing your best. So if you're addicted to the screen and you made a bunch of bad decisions, you did it because you were doing your best as someone who's addicted to the screen. If you're poisoned with mold and you've done things that you regret, you've treated people poorly, it's because you're literally carrying toxins around in you, and your body's dealing with them, and your brain is in the pendulum effect. So I know you don't want to hear this either, but it's not your fault, and it's not your people's fault. We're all dealing with lots and lots of toxic stuff because mold's everywhere and the screen's everywhere. The life we've set up, except for the people who've gone off the grid on a tropical island, which I'm seriously considering, those are the only people who aren't dealing with the toxic lives we've set ourselves up in. We are indoors breathing dirty indoor air more than ever. That's why mold's impacting people. I now know this, which is why I'm now here talking about it. We're in the screen more than ever, which is toxifying our minds. We got to get out of the screen. We got to get outdoors. That's the solution. But in the meantime, when we also forgive ourselves and the people in our world for the seeming transgressions and recognize everybody's doing their best, and you look at those people with your heart, not your head, not your dysregulated brain pattern, your pendulum effect brain. Look at them with your heart, your compassionate heart that sees they're struggling too and they're doing their best. Look at yourself with your heart. You're doing your best and you deserve better, which is why we're going to use the stitches of brain training. You're going to use these videos and we're going to kick the crap out of screen and mold brain. And we together as a community and as a tribe are going to rise above the toxic life that we have inadvertently gotten ourselves into. Who's with me? Can I get an amen? I'm supposed to be asking you to drop some comments. I forgot because we're making this participatory. Who is with me? Drop me a comment so that we can crush this thing. All right. If you're looking for help on the journey, please reach out to me, drtrishleigh.com. And there's a page on my website for the Muse headband. The links are below for mold testing. Get 2 plates, test where you sleep and where you work, and check in with me if it comes back funky. Get the Muse headband, start stitching your brain so that it can work better. And as always, remember, control your brain or it'll control you.